Good to hear. Hello, Katie. Hello, Rose.
I'm here, I think.
You think? Sideline,
Yo.
under,
Hello.
and fingers crossed, Torn.
Or now.
Oh. Okay, welcome back to Widdershin Teachings. Things have happened. Last session was a lot, I think. People discovering strange spirits attached to unwitting people, hidden caves and hidden labs under a cave with kidnapped people in them. Trying to think what else happened. A week ago feels like so long ago.
Yeah, time is slowly stretching. It's weird.
Oh, I suppose the one thing we can do to start off with is Rose. Anna did stuff. TM.
Yes, she found out some things about our dear friend that she's not sure how to feel about them still. A little
Yes,
concerned,
she did.
a little less murdery about him.
Namely to mention, Alana's pretty much dead on most of his class stuff. I think I should edit it.
Alright, Alana, what's going on with him?
He has some sort of on kind of things I had to describe this. Like a split personality, kind of, except I don't think he remembers what he does at night.
Ah, like Jekyll and Hyde.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, you read that book? Wow, okay.
Alana looks offended.
Of course, it's fairly popular.
I just thought it was... Never mind. Okay,
Also,
great.
Alana is a very strange one anyway.
I
What?
will not repute that. However,
What'd I
there
do
is
to
one
you?
thing I will say there is one thing I do repute. I have a lot of qualms with what you did, but I've already mentioned them. But there is one more that I want to bring up. Okay, so you went to Leodric, sorry.
Mhm.
You talked to him.
Yes.
You talked to the alchemist.
Yes.
And you didn't tell him.
Didn't tell Leodric?
Yes.
No.
Why?
Because Leodric would panic because he now has an insanely powerful spirit, or the soul of an insanely powerful man living in his body, potentially able to harm him.
Yes.
Leodric is already stressed as hell. That's in there. If I
Mm.
told him about that, it would freak him out more, and it might even actually make the alchemist more likely to be able to take over and kill him. Because fraught emotional states leads to weakened willpower, which leads to possession, such as this, leading more towards the possessor than the possessee.
Okay.
As well,
One.
the alchemist doesn't seem to want to reveal himself to Leodric as well.
Didn't you describe him as someone screaming at him occasionally? Like something off in the distance yelling at him. Wouldn't he want to know something about that?
Oh, well.
And also,
Leodric
don't
or the
you have the
alchemist?
ability to prevent people from being possessed and also make people resistant to that stuff? And also, Leodric's been extremely well receiving to news. I don't appreciate.
He is very good at hiding him freaking out.
I just don't think it was correct of you to really just sort of take the mental autonomy of that person into your own hands and decide, yeah, this is what's best for him. I get your point. I see that the emotional state is important for preventing him from being possessed. I also think just a measure of convenience was made in that decision making.
I do not deny that, yes. There's a lot going on here. And the less complications we have from one of the main points in this, the better. It is both for our benefit and for his.
All right. Do we want to go tell him?
I say no. At the very least, not until the alchemist's soul is a bit more stable.
Well, I see you did a great job of that. I mean, he is sealed away at this point, right?
He is he is prevented well enough.
Which, I mean,
There's,
I also have qualms with, but I'm not going to go into that one.
That was also
there's
not
a total
me.
of 2 hero points holding him back.
Yeah. Still. All right, Alana. He's got a Jekyll and Hyde thing going on, but he's still ripping parts of the soul of the alchemist. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you were aware of that. Leodric is possessed by the alchemist, who is being used by fuel by Dominic to create undead.
Yes, either inadvertently or intentionally, something that Dominic is doing is infusing portions of the alchemist's soul into the things that
Well,
he's creating.
Yes.
considering
Empower them.
he worships Saren Ray, as far as I know,
Ah,
wait, he worships not Saren Ray. I'm sorry, he worships Aristotle. I'm gonna safely assume that he is doing it unintentionally, no matter what it is.
So it
I
would be his
don't
alter
think
ego?
yes, because I don't think a chaotic good god would be very happy about that.
No. He does seem rather confused by the fact that he keeps finding onyxes, so I don't believe he also realizes that he's actually taking souls. Parts of a soul.
Well, he woke up and didn't know he made his necrocraft buddy, which he called
Yes.
Beast, apparently.
Okay. All right, so let's cut to the chase. How do we solve this issue? I can't kill half a person.
no. As well, as I said, we are not going to be killing him.
And what's the plan?
I think this is where we're going to leave perhaps some time to brainstorm, because I imagine this is the sort of thing you need to think a little bit about. Also, as said, I don't want to pan the camera over to Torin, considering he is, heat deafing. Torin, are you here? You may be heat deafed proper.
Yeah.
Oh no.
What?
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. As a saying, are you here?
For the moment.
Because the saying, well, you are, we'll say present. Ash was doing stuff. Namely, I believe they were trying to find people for their performance.
Yeah, for that big thing, yeah.
You have a few people you could potentially go ask, after all. You have, well, anyone you know who you think might also know a performance skill. Prismelda has been in her off time playing with the, I believe it is school wind band, or at least some smaller musical thing. Oh. Well, I'll also take this time to say, if you have any questions that you want to pose as to knowledge checks you might be able to make about vigilantes and stuff like that, feel free to make them. Just pose the question to me in the chat.
Okay, I'm alive again. I missed the second half of everything you just said.
Okay, I believe first bit was obviously you have people you know who have performance skills. Prismelda's also been spending time with, it was like the wind band of the school or something like that, some kind of music group.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm trying for a very specific kind of performance group, which means, I'm gonna have to be putting out advertisement, going around just talking to people, asking around, that kind of thing.
I suppose a good question is what sort of vibe is Ash aiming for?
It's all going to be basically like a big sort of. Oh god, is it dead again?
Nope, you're good.
No, you're good, I think.
I think it's more him hearing us.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey.
Okay, so basically I'm shooting for sort of like a charity performance idea, um where basically costs for the performances will be covered by donations and stuff, and all profits are instead going to people who have been affected by the necromantic outbreak in the fucking hills and whatever.
So you're trying to play on, I suppose, as that is charitable good nature along with a performance.
Yes.
Fair enough.
As well as, of course, giving people the opportunity to make themselves more well known within the community of the school itself, etc. Kind of, Probably dead again.
No,
Oh, you're
you're
good.
still here.
Okay.
It's just obviously listening. So a
Yeah,
bit,
we're just
almost a bit like a gala.
Sure.
I suppose the first place, well, probably first going to like the school and being like, "Hey, can I organize this? Maybe use the fucking like what's it called, auditorium and stuff like that."
I mean, we already went through that. I need
That's true,
to
actually.
have my group organized and have a date set and all that first.
Fair enough. In which case, give me a preliminary diplomacy check. Ash is starting to put out feelers, perhaps try to identify key groups. Also, maybe just see how receptive or is the general student populace to this.
Have an 18.
Okay. You know, there is one certain subsect of the campus that's actually quite interested in that idea, and it probably shouldn't come at too much as a surprise, as it's the staff who run the chapel.
Cool.
Obviously, kind of being a little bit further from, major civilizations, there's not really much of a chance to do stuff like this. There's maybe like, oh, obviously, people do a bit of work for people in town, but there's never really been. Oh, this seems to be happening more often than often.
Hello.
Though,
So, the people who work at the chapel was, the last thing I heard.
yeah, they'd certainly be on board to help you with something like this, because obviously there's not much of an opportunity to do something.
Yeah.
There's only like maybe 5 or 6 of them who actually work there, but they would certainly be behind to set up a few things, maybe even perform themselves, maybe get the choir behind it.
Yeah, I know, but again, I've really been shooting for a specific kind of performance, which is the problem.
Yeah, no, it's
But
just the
I
offer
may
is
have
there.
to. Yeah, no, I'm probably going to have to expand a little bit, but I'm sure they can help provide the background music to which the others will perform too.
Yeah, at least in part. So Ash can spend a couple of hours doing that. Also, I have something on Roll20 to reveal to you. You might want to take the time to read over.
Where?
Now,
Oh,
there
there we
you
go.
as something I've been thinking about for a while, but while you have your kind of preset wardy stuff, I've also kind of enjoyed entertaining the idea of wards that you could make up on the fly, which, might come in useful soon or later.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna give me this, then like, you're basically giving me a gigantic fucking toolkit. You know how my imagination runs well with this crap.
Pinky face.
And
It does cost money, is the major issue. You can offset that a little bit just for your ranks, but I'll leave you to read that. Because we have one other person who's currently elsewhere, I imagine, which is Tinder.
Who?
Ipos is still in the hills, question mark?
Well, that depends entirely on what Alana did. Did she get his attention? Did she try to speak to him, bring him back, whatever? Because if not, then yes, he's still up in the hills, just
I'm
sat there
here to
completely
say-
oblivious.
She would eventually go back and tell Ipos. She wouldn't just have him sit there waiting forever.
Okay, there's still time for this to happen then. The Ipos. While you're kind of waiting in the glade, you've noticed that the time that you've been there, it's largely been quiet. Obviously. There's not really been any animals in the glade. The birds that are in the trees have fled, wolves are obviously gone right now. That is until maybe like an hour or two while Apos is probably entertaining himself in some way. Suddenly, out of the corner of his eyes, he sees, is that some sparrows up in the trees? They seem to be almost inquisitively looking around the glade.
Yay, little burbs. I mean, does there seem anything off about them? Can Ipos see anything like, what they might be looking for, etc., etc.?
To Apos's eyes, they just kind of look like regular birds. There's no nothing like what happened with Shrike where it's kind of been corrupted or anything.
Right.
We're not actually entering quite deep into the little glade. We're kind of like around the edges looking about. Roll me a sense motive.
Oh yeah, because this will go so well.
Sorry.
Yeah, 7. Not sure what you were expecting.
I mean, you can roll high sometimes. Whereas Epos isn't quite sure, but Epos does notice that Shrike suddenly gets a bit more excited seeing the other birds returning, kind of hopping from one of your shoulders to the other.
Okay. Assuming it's literally face value. I mean, Epos is assuming it's literally face value of, yay, friends are returning. And he's basically like, go play if you want.
Shrike does not look too enthused at that idea. When Epos kind of says, go play, Epos receives 3 images in his head. One of Shrike himself, one of the birds, and one of Shrike, completely black while the birds are white.
Okay. I guess the other birds don't like him because of, his stuff, maybe? I don't fucking know.
Epos gets more of a feeling that maybe he's worried the birds won't like him.
Oh, well, sod it. If those birds don't like it, then Epos still will, and you won't know if you don't try.
Yeah, if the birds don't like him, I'll just zap them. Destroy them. Anyone who does not like him, kill.
Not quite.
Aw, murder for a friend, though.
It's crazy. You know, Shrike will take a little bit of encouragement. Fluttering up into the trees, where you can see there's actually quite a lot of, birds' nests and such. More central to the glade, and there enters this kind of period of time where we just kind of twitter at each other. Birdsong finally filling this quiet place once more, with other birds slowly getting closer and closer. After a while, Shrike almost seems elated as the other birds don't seem to treat them any differently than any other bird as they, well, presumably talk to each other in the way that birds do.
Yep, Epos is just going to basically sit there and watch this. He's not going to interrupt, he's just going to let the Shrike do its thing.
Second. Ooh, okay. Plus, you actually notice something now that you're paying more attention to the trees. Silent fucking hell. In one of the nests, is that paper?
Okay.
It looks almost as if,
Do the nests basically look abandoned?
yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like there haven't been birds here in a while. There's no, well, not that you can see quite now, but if Epos wants to go up, he wouldn't find anything really in them beyond what makes them up.
He'll climb up and look at paper then. I mean, birds often steal little scraps of paper to build their nests and things like that, so...
Yeah, scraps and shinies. Epos can do so, clambering up a tree. It looks like a few of the nests have been, yeah, they're actually made of quite a few bits of paper. Just torn out pages from somewhere crumpled up and then apparently thrown somewhere, and the birds went, oh, free nesting material, and used it. Epos can see, although it's a bit aged, there's writing on them.
Okay. And now becomes the game of let's line up the torn bits of paper to try and make a message.
I don't suppose Epos chanced to have mending prepared.
Don't be stupid.
Hey. The moon's blue every so often, presumably.
Yeah, it's one of those spells I'd prepare if I needed it. Which, if this fails, I can just prepare it tomorrow. No big deal.
Yeah. You can gather a few pieces, but it appears that some are missing, or in some cases, there's a very large, black... the paper's been blackened somehow. Almost as if it's been burnt or if someone's poured ink over it.
As someone eats their microphone.
Is it dogs again?
Oh, Sideline forgot to mute his mic before he set his headset down.
The ninny. But yeah, he'll gather what bits of paper he can, search around the various empty nests in the area, and he'll just basically pass his time by trying to work it out.
Okay then.
half watching his bird friend making friends.
It does indeed seem like there's a few bits missing, but interestingly, or thankfully, it's all written in common at least. People can piece together a few things, which I'll write down in the main chat and Discord. The other part that's a bit difficult is figuring out what order do these go in. My
What would I do?
Why have you forsaken us? You forgot to mute before you put your headset down and on.
Is that a problem? Sorry? What happened?
Oh,
It kind of rubbed up against the table a lot and made loud noises.
Oh, sorry.
it's fine. To catch up, you must find a bit of some paper, seemingly used to make
It's
birds'
not
nests
just
from
paper, it does have words on it. Just to clarify that, Ipos isn't just collecting blank paper.
I like paper, though.
I'm sure you do, but it's more useful when it has stuff written on it.
No,
Exactly.
you can't use it if it's got stuff written on it.
You can't
Stuff
use
might
it,
be
I
important.
can.
For those who can't or do not want to read the chat, there's 4 pieces. One reads, "I'm so sick of potatoes and carrots, but Erastio is deaf to my prayers." Second piece reads, "I hate doing this. I don't know how Rebecca managed." Third piece is, "I'm sorry guys, I tried." And fourth piece is, "The wolves will live, but..."
Ominous.
Well, it basically tells of when this guy came back, he had to do certain things to stay alive. Rebecca probably already did them. He's quite apologetic about it. He probably killed the wolves by accident, or almost killed the wolves by accident, managed to save them, but there's that whole, stone eyes, not quite right wolves things going on with them.
Speaking of those stone eyes, that previous local check was me wondering what kind of prosthetics and what kind of region they were originally from, and if I've heard of any other things like that.
I'll write you something out.
Thank you.
Epos says his little thing. However, as Epos ends up finishing, Shrike returns to you, landing pretty much solidly. Actually, does Epos have like horns or was ears?
He has weird little horn things. He doesn't have ears, he has ear holes but no ears. And then he has horn things.
As Shrike lands on the tip of one of your horns.
Reaches up and pets it.
Seems kind of almost interested in what you're doing. Specifically, the one blackened piece that's there, it's like looking at it, turning its head again.
I just show it the pieces, ask him if he knows what they are, if he knows where any of the other pieces are.
Shrike shows you one image of a blackened hand, and then kind of gestures with a wing to the piece of paper.
Yes, I guessed it was his.
Seems to think a bit, having, when you ask, "Do you know where any of the other bits are?" before flitting away again. Going to check the other trees where a few sparse nests are.
Ipos is just going to let it check, because it can do a far better job than he can.
Yeah, birds thankfully get perception.
And flight. They don't have to climb
flight.
up and down every tree.
Certainly could, though. As Shrike will end up returning with 3 other pieces.
Whoop whoop. Start figuring them out. Are all of the writings single-sided? It's not drawn on both sides.
Yeah, it's single-sided.
Right.
Or at least the pieces that you're finding are single-sided so far.
Because basically, as he figures out what order the pieces go in, he's going to tear a strip of bark off one of the trees, find something suitably sticky like sap, and just start gluing the bits of paper to the bark to keep it in the right order.
This week on Epos Makes a Book.
Yeah.
True.
So mean.
Aw, he doesn't like Faye, the bastard.
I mean, Fae are bastards, so.
Yeah.
I know the scars under the...
There's kind of a reason why the majority of stories about them are, hey, someone got spirited away by them.
They don't know any better. They wanted a friend, and so they took them to a place where they thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And then they spent 4,000 years in real time.
It's not the Fae's fault that your like concept of time is weird.
Or you have familial ties. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
There you have family. People you care about. Disgusting.
Yeah, how dare you?
Yeah, a little bit of consideration. Such a difficult thing to ask for.
I gave you the Fountain of Youth, and you just got grumpy about the fact that your grandma died while you were gone. What the fuck? Presumably has no money for making them, says the person who's ripping parts of a soul out of a body.
And that's not money, though. I mean, technically it's money. But it's not quite like something. You can't just make something out of souls.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, you just have to have the right person to make
Right.
them.
Yeah.
Get yourself a
Like-
daemon in here.
Souls are like the butter. You apply it to
Mm.
something.
Butter.
Interesting comparison. I bet daemons would actually agree with that.
Maybe they just really like butter. Okay. So these are things we know. I do have a few ideas. One is a bit complicated. It has no guarantee of working, and frankly, I don't want to do, but I have to put it on the table. This Damien dude, he's obviously looking for something and he's working towards something. He doesn't know what he's doing, and stealing parts of the soul of the alchemist is just what he's doing to get to the ends of that goal. So, the goal seems to be something related to finding a person. Problem is, the planar boundary for him has been impermeable. I'd have to ask my mother, but with what I've seen from my father's work in Rusty and other constructs, he does seem to have an advanced knowledge of planar boundaries and demiplanes. I could go into his vault and look around for notes. It's a big shot in the dark, but it's an option.
Well, first, I think you should, as you said earlier, speak with your mother first. She knows more, so ask her.
Yeah.
But honestly, the thing that I think that we need to do the most, that's the most pressing, is getting Damien out of the public eye.
So actually capturing him.
Yes. At the very minimum, very least, that's what we need to do, because if he doesn't know about his alternate personality, and he isn't working, and if he is attempting to work against it, then that one will agree. The other one will not be so forthcoming, but if they're both captured, then they should be easy to observe and, well, understand more about them. As well as stopping him from stripping away more of the alchemist's soul. So he can no longer do anything.
Okay.
However, it seems him or his alternate personality are very powerful.
Yeah, that's the main drawback.
Yes.
I just throwing that out there.
So we will likely need aid in this.
Well, I mean, we could always just throw Wolf at him and see if how many hammer hits he could take. Most people can't take more than 3.
Yes, but on that same note, we would have to see how many undead wolves and giant monsters Wolf can take to get to him. Not even counting anything that alter ego might throw at him magically.
Yeah, about that. If I'm feeling particularly brave on a specific day, today's not that day. If we can get him to be in one location where we know, and he seems to have a person who he enjoys conversing with, Aaron looks at Alana. There's no reason why I have to be anywhere near him, and then I can be suddenly next to him with Wolf, and essentially just decapitate him, but non-lethally with
Yeah.
Wolf.
Non-lethally. I know what you mean, but you can't non-lethally decapitate someone.
Figure of speech.
Again, though, there are still many, many, many things that are in between us and reaching them.
Yes, I agree, but I don't hate that line of approach.
Same.
We just need to figure out a way to get him away from all of his army.
Perhaps you should go speak with Steve. You did say that she gave you a contract for dealing with him, correct?
Tommy.
Yes. Yeah, I see. I'll be right back.
It'll be like 2 seconds. Also, may I just say, Alana's not keen on deceiving the poor guy just so they could knock him unconscious. That is not something she's on board with.
If we can work with his good side, all the better. But I'm not sure if we can. So that's more of a thing that we do after other things don't work.
Also, I have to say, comment that he likes speaking to Alana. It's more that Alana's just kind of been there every time.
Yeah, I guess when you're the only person to speak to, and you just want to talk to somebody, it kind of necessitates you have to like speaking to them in a way.
And he's certainly not hiding, like, people friends up there, it seems. He's got one big undead thing, a bunch of undead spiders, and some maybe alive wolves. Spree find out secretly he has 5 friends.
Be more than what I had.
Ow. Is it? Over Gunpo. Muted. No, I'm there. Where'd he here? Ow.
Oh, I did it again, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Damn
There's
it.
more of
Sorry.
a.
You may want to turn yourself on push to talk on Steam.
We should probably just fucking go back to Discord, because I'm probably gonna drop out anyway.
Zora's happened, Tor, but if you're around tomorrow and the session doesn't happen, I can do stuff with you over text.
Yeah, no, I'm probably gonna have to ask we cancel tomorrow, because
Yeah,
this
if
isn't working either.
If you're not able to work here, and well, every
It
other
might
option's not
clear up
working,
tomorrow.
I'm not holding out hope.
I also refuse to download Skype out of principle, so sorry.
Shinx, I remember the last time this happened, Steam worked for a while.
For a while, yeah.
It's not working this time, so I'm sorry. There's
not your fault.
appears to be nothing I can do.
this happens.
Yeah, well, talk to you later, guys. Go ahead and hop back over to
See you,
Discord,
Torin.
because it's
See.
better.
Sorry, man.
I'll
Yeah, I
see you
tried.
maybe tomorrow then.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, Tinder is the voice stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tinder. I'll give you a minute to set it up, I suppose.
Nah, Discord's already set up.
Oh god. Okay. Remembered all the buttons.
Yeah, my voice balancing is set per program, so I can switch between
Go
Discord
here.
and whatever else I like.
Yep. Right. You guys will notice that Aaron is extremely nervous, I guess.
That's not difficult.
Yeah.
It's not
It's different.
unusual.
Also that too.
It's different nervous. She's normally panicked nervous. This is sad, afraid what she'll be finding nervous. If you want to come with for moral support, that would be great. But I mean, if you guys have a different plan, I could go with that one too. Talking to Steve would help. She might show more of an interest if she knows the alchemist is involved.
Potentially, yes.
She is really busy too.
Oh.
Yeah, I took this contract from her to make it one item smaller on her massive list of things that she needs done.
Then perhaps we can just use her as a consultant. Get advice and or recommendations of other people to go to.
Oh, well, we don't need a recommendation. I already know who I want to go to instead.
Really?
Yeah, Madame Moore. She says she can cure every disease. affliction. I don't know if multi-personality disorder is included in that, but it would be worth a shot.
Point. Madame Moore is very good at this sort of thing. I wonder if she's taken a look at Leodric yet.
I don't believe so.
Odd. Mullen would have probably informed her.
Has. From what I've gathered, a lot of the staff are very preoccupied on something. I don't know what, though.
If that's the case, then it's likely whatever's preoccupying with Steve as well. Well then. Seems we will have to be doing this among the student body then. Our classmates and those around them.
Yeah. My mother is a talented magician. I can talk to her, as I said, but I don't.
Then you should.
I don't want to. Look. Hi, Mom. How are you? I'm sorry I swore at you and called you a massive bitch. Can you help me with this? That doesn't. It's not becoming.
And yet, if you never do something like that, if you never go and actually speak about it, it will never get better. So
Yeah.
perhaps go and start with the apology, catch up a little bit. I'm certain she does not hold any ill will, and then bring up the important job informations.
Where's my partner? Hippos!
I mean, when would this be? Ipos is at a cave.
Yeah, this is after Alana came back, because I was talking with Alana, and she told you that he's not here. He's wandered off somewhere else.
I didn't realise you were talking to Alana.
In which case, this would be pretty late on in the day.
In which case,
Yeah.
there's also here's a message as well.
Oh.
Flops paper.
Well, as much as this is interesting, it doesn't really tell me much.
Erastil, god of the community, often worshipped by the peasantry.
I heard he liked trees. That's about it, really.
Actually, no, he's a hunter. He is a hunter god.
Yeah.
So, while among nature, trees are not actually in his portfolio. Farmers are, and farming,
Well,
and
apple
hunters.
trees, then.
Or okay, orchards, yes,
God.
but you need to be specific because not all trees are apple trees.
Not all fucking trees are apple. Okay.
Interesting things that he has.
But he mentions Rebecca, how she managed. Did Rebecca already come through then?
He could also be talking about
Oh,
in the past.
we know Rebecca came through. She came through 60 years ago.
Oh, and burned.
And burnt.
Oh.
So I remind you of the timeline.
So Dominic thinks Rebecca's still alive.
Well, Alana might have mentioned Rebecca because she has no tact when it comes to conversation.
Good job, Alana.
And she
Glad he's
also
up to speed.
gently mentioned that she might not be alive, but she also might be alive. We just don't know. She was upfront about that. So Dominic
She's
has no idea
very
now.
dead. She was burnt at the stake.
We don't know if that means she's actually dead. Dominic's
I
here for a reason
literally
we don't know.
I literally have a bag of soil mixed with her ash.
Just don't
You
mention
know-
the big black spot that is where all her body is now.
That still doesn't mean anything, you know?
Dear.
Alana didn't know that.
All evidence
told him what
points
she
to
knew.
dead.
Look,
Yeah, listen, she gave him a
Because-
bit of hope because she didn't know.
I got a jar of dirt. I got a jar of dirt.
Yeah, basically, she did tell him she might be dead. Sorry, go ahead,
Okay.
Dark.
I'm sorry, but the tales of her death was greatly exaggerated.
No, it wasn't. You want to see Rebecca? Here's a part of her. Here's another part.
look, people are only dead when you can see the body. There isn't a body here.
There's bits of a body here.
The disintegration spell has much to talk to you about.
Nope, I don't care if you got disintegrated. I can't see a body or not dead. See, raise dead doesn't work on you. You're clearly not dead.
So that rating probably is a little bit old because he kind of suspects she's probably dead because Alana went, well, I don't know, but she did not sound hopeful.
Fair. Well, I'm glad that bridge has been crossed, Alana, actually, I'm quite pleased. That's not hyperbole or like sarcasm. That's better now than never. I suppose our next step would be to. Oh, he's still looking for someone, trying to get into the basement. And we know these people are from the previous school, so he's likely trying to unearth a bunch of people who got lost in the time stream of the previous school disappearing. Which means that we need to go root around in. Hi, Ipos, by the way.
Hi.
Did you enjoy your time in the woods?
I met more birds
It's nice.
and found Yordrick, or whatever his name was. The dwarf
Jordan.
man. Jordan, that's it. I was mixing two names together.
Yordrick.
Yes.
They
Oh, that's nice.
danced.
Mind if I steal you and Wolf?
Why?
I need to go talk to Mom and.
Ipos
frankly,
grabs your
Wolf.
hand and starts walking.
Up, but okay. I got my moral support kobold and my giant meat wall of a friend. It's great.
Excellent.
My two favorites.
Wolf looks confused as they're walking off. Wolf follows, but he looks very confused.
And by the way, Ipos, you just grab Aaron's hand and just start walking. Aaron just kind of slumps forward on Rusty. Rusty looks at what's happening and then just kind of follows you, trying not to rip Aaron in half.
He's a good dog. He knows to follow the kobold.
Is Erin actually finally going to go see her goddamn mother?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't expecting you to do this for a while, so I don't have a good image.
Well,
Very
yeah,
good
that-
at delivering on something you're supposed to do.
Didn't you have an image for Aaron's mom? I don't remember.
I do, because you sent me it. I
Yeah. I sent you 3, and I don't remember which one you picked.
picked one I liked. Oh, that'll be why. I picked one that looks like truth coming out of her will to shame mankind. There we go. As I suppose Aaron, Wolf, and Epos can go to, well, not quite a dorm, but it's more like apartments for staff who live on campus.
Ipos wants to make a good impression, so as we approach the building, but before we enter, he's going to cast a spell on himself.
Oh, you're using Honey Tongue now?
I'm totally. It lasts 10 minutes per level, and it's the end of the day, and nothing else has happened. So yes, he's going to try and make a good impression through magic.
It's fair.
I don't know, it's pretty late. She might be in bed already.
Ipos isn't slowing down. He's still holding Aaron's hand, still walking.
Isn't it rude to knock during dinner?
It's late. It's past dinner. Walk.
But then she could be in bed. Oh, God.
Wolf
Which,
still look confused.
which house hers? Or which door hers?
This one.
Ipos walks straight up, still holding Aaron, and then sort of tries to pull Aaron's hand up so Aaron and knocks the door. And then he quickly scampers behind her.
Erin doesn't knock on the door, but she taps Rusty, who paws at the door.
Yeah, well, I meant more he was swinging Aaron's hand for her.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, yes, I knock the door. Erin pulls back her hand a bit and goes, "Ow!" She rubs her knuckles a bit.
It's important you do, not Rusty. And then Ipos runs round and hides behind Rusty.
What's wrong with Rusty?
Is she not Rusty's mum?
She is.
Ipos's brain just sort of stops for a moment as he tries to work out how that works.
She helped make him. Oh, she's not answering the door. I guess it's she must be out.
I was waiting for you to stop. There's like a couple of seconds of silence after you knock before you hear a very distant, "Just a second."
Comforting pat.
It's probably another minute before you can hear numerous what sounds like chains being pulled from the doors and locks being turned open before
She
the
as
door
paranoid as you.
before the door finally opens, revealing, I mean, not quite tall for a, well, not tall because she's a halfling, but perhaps quite tall for a halfling. And then now that you look at her, you suppose it could be Aaron's mother as she looks and goes, "Oh, Aaron and guests, Frosty."
Hi. Hi.
I I wasn't really. Well, I was expecting you, but not expecting you, and certainly not this time. But then again, I guess it shouldn't have surprised me.
Yeah. Aaron's trying to say things, just failing completely.
Hi, Aaron, Mom. I'm Ipos. This wolf. We friends of Aaron. Ipos
Yeah.
make Aaron come.
It's nice to meet you too. Please call me Maria.
They make me come. They just encouraged.
Encouraged by pulling.
Um,
She very nervous. Need lots of encourage.
I'm sorry.
There's nothing to be sorry about. Come on, come in, take a seat. She pulls back the door, ushering you all inside.
Yeah.